everyone, welcome back to DevOps Talk. So this is day 5 of our Docker workshop series, and if you have been following along, we have already covered what a Docker is, how it works under the hood, how to install it, and how images and layers are formed. If you missed any of those, make sure to check our Docker workshop playlist. All of the previous sessions are there for you. So now in this session, we are diving into one of the most essential part of Docker, which is building the images. And today we'll discuss about Dockerfile. We'll talk about why we need it, how to write one Docker file step by step, and what are parser directives. And then we'll jump into the hands-on lab to create a Docker file, and we'll explore all the key instructions like from, run, copy, command, or CMD, entry point, and many more. So let's begin and understand how Docker files make image building simple, consistent, and automated. So now that we understand what containers are, how images work, and how images are built in layers. So this is where in between Docker file comes in. Let's see how we can actually create those images ourselves by using Docker files. So Dockerfile is basically a simple text-based script that contains a series of instructions telling Docker how to build an image, which is step by step. So think of it is like a recipe for your container image. Instead of manually running commands like installing dependencies, copying files, or setting environment variables every time, we will write those steps once inside a Docker file. Docker then executes them automatically and produces a custom image ready to run your application. In short, the Docker file defines everything needed to package your application into an image, including base image, commands, files, network ports, user permissions, environment variables, and the final startup commands. So the base image is for start the image, like where will be the starting point. The commands to install dependencies and configure the environments, and we'll use copy to copy our files from our host to the image. Then we'll use expose for network ports, and similarly we'll use args and all. So we'll see that. So these are called Dockerfile instructions. For example, this from, run, copy, expose, user, command, CMD, these are called instructions. So each instructions creates a new layer in the image, which is why understanding image layers was important before this. So that's why I explained the image layers first. So in short, a Docker file is a blueprint for building your own Docker image, automating all the setup steps so anyone can reproduce the same environment with just one command, which is Docker build. So when you run Docker build, then the builder works, and it has two kind of builder, which is a classic builder, which we used to use earlier, and now the latest one is build kit. When you run Docker build command, the Docker starts the builder, and the builder parses the Docker file. It will execute each instruction in order. It will create intermediate layers, and it commits the final image. I hope you understood what is Docker file and how it works. Let's go back to our PPT. So as I explained earlier, a Docker file is a text-based document that is used to create a container image. It provides instructions to the image builder on the commands to run, files to copy. It is important to note that the Docker file has no file extension. So we'll see Docker file references. Docker can build images automatically by reading the instruction from a Docker file. A Docker file is a text. So the Docker file can build images automatically by reading the instruction from a Docker file. So whatever we'll mention, by reading that, the Docker will build the images automatically by parsing the Docker file. A Docker file is a text document that contains all the commands a user would call on the command line to assemble the image. Alright, so what will be the format of Docker file? So first will be the instruction, and second one will be the arguments. So whatever we show just now from copy, expose, run, CMD, so those are the instruction. They called as instruction, and after that whatever we'll put, those are called as arguments. The instruction is not case sensitive. However, convention is for them to be uppercase to distinguish them from arguments more easily. So Docker runs instruction in a Dockerfile in order. A Dockerfile must begin with a from instruction. This may be after parser directives. I'll tell you what are parser directives, and comments, globally scoped arguments. What is saying is the Dockerfile, it should begin with from instruction. So we'll always mention the base image first. It can be mentioned after the parser directives or comments or globally scoped arguments. Okay, the from instruction specifies the base image from which you are building. From may only be preceded by one or more arg instructions which declare arguments that are used in from lines in the Dockerfile. Build kit treats lines that begin with hash as a comment unless the line is valid parser directive. A hash marker anywhere else in the line is treated as argument. We'll see it is the uh, parser directive, then only we will get to know what I am talking about here. So what are the parser directive in a Docker file? Parser directives are special instructions that appear at the very top of the Docker file. They influence how Docker interprets or parses the Docker file before it executes any build instruction like from, run, copy, etc. Think of them as settings for the Docker file itself, not commands to build the image. They always start with a hash symbol followed by syntax or another recognized key. So there are always recognized key as parser directives. So one is syntax and another one is escape. So these two are the common parser directives. This tells Dockerfile which syntax or builder version to use. For example, this is how we'll mention the parser directives, and then the base image should be called. This is especially useful when using build kit features like advanced caching, mounts, or secrets. It ensures the Docker engine uses the correct parser to understand newer features in Dockerfile. That's what I mentioned here, that build kit treats line that begin with hash as a comment. Whenever we will do Docker build, the line which begin with hash as a comment unless the line is a valid parser directive. If you are mentioning like this way and there will be hash at the beginning of the line, then this will be called a parser directive. If you are just mentioning a hash, then just typing something random, then that will be treated as a comment. A hash marker anywhere else in a line is treated as an argument. Like if you are just printing something and in the echo message you just typed a hash, then it will be treated as an argument. Then the second parser directive is escape. It defines the escape character used for line continuation. Default is backslash, but on Windows you can change to backtick. So I gave you the example. This is how we'll mention. This helps handle multi-line commands correctly on different operating system. Alright, so this is not mandatory. You will write it. Not every time you will use this parser directive, but this is good to know. So parser directives must appear before any non-command instruction like from. They are not part of the image. They only affect how the Docker file is read and processed. If you put them anywhere else in the file, they will be ignored or cause error. So it's better to put it before the before the base image. So you can just like in your bash script, when you mention shebang, it determines how commands in the script are read and executed. It will used before any script commands run. Similarly, in Dockerfile, parser derivatives determines how Docker reads and understands the Dockerfile syntax and features, and it must appear before any Dockerfile instruction like from. So here is the example of a Dockerfile. The following Dockerfile would produce a ready to run Python application. So this example I just showed you. So here we are first taking a base image, then we are setting a working directory, then copy our requirement.txt folder from our host to the working directory which we mentioned here. Then we are installing the requirement.txt, whatever is inside the requirement.txt, that will be get installed. Then we are copying the source again. We are copying the source code. Here we just copied the requirement.txt file, but here we are copying the source. Why? Because you can copy all the things at once, but when we will change something in the source code, installation will happen again. So that's why, to get it in a separate layer, we copied the requirement.txt first, then we copied our source code. then we are exposing the port, adding a user using run command, then we are specifying the user, then we are executing the application using CMD. So in the CMD, whatever command you will specify, you will just break down into multiple quotation and the separator will be comma. Alright. Here are the common instructions which I explained. From will use for base image, work directory will specify the working directory, then copy. The instruction tells the builder to copy files. So whatever I explained, these are the same thing. And here are the supported instruction. You can use add to add local or remote files and the directories. You can use arg for build time variables. You can use cmd to specify the default command, then copy. Entry point, you can use entry point to specify default executable. We'll see what is the difference between the cmd and entry point later. And we can use env, which we use to set the env variable, environment variable. We will use expose to describe which ports our application is listening on. You can use from, it is for the base image. You can use health check, it checks the container's health on startup. We can use label, the label is basically for adding metadata to an image. Then we can use maintainer, it will specify the author of an image. So these are the optional. If you want, you can use it. So on build instruction is there. This is for specifying instruction for when the image is used in a build. Then we can use run, execute build commands that we show. Then we will use shell, set the default cell of an image, which interpreter you want to use. You can just mention that. Then you can use stop signal, specify the system call signal for exiting a container. Then user, to set a user and group id. The volume, so it will used for to create volume mounts. Work dir to change the working directory. So these are the supported instruction which you can mention in the Dockerfile if you want. And here is the custom Dockerfile names. By default, Dockerfiles look for a file named Dockerfile with capital D and no extension in the current directory when you run docker build dot. So when you run that, Dockerfile will look for the file named Dockerfile and it starts with capital D. But sometimes you may want to use different name. For example, if you have multiple Dockerfiles for different environments or services, you can use dockerfile.dev or dockerfile.prod or dockerfile.test. You can use the names in a different way. In that case, you can tell Docker which file to use with the -f flag. So you can use docker build, then -f, then you can mention the docker file, then -t for tag, then you can tag it, and you can place the dot so that it will take the file from the current directory. So here's what happens. -f specify the custom file name, then you can tag the image using -t, then the dot is the build context, the directory where docker will copy from, the docker file will copy it from this directory. So that's why you will place the dot at the end. Alright, so if you have a custom docker file, then you can follow these steps. So now let's see the lab, how we can write a docker file that will build a simple node.js application. Okay, so here is the link. Just clone this repository and delete the docker file, whatever inside it, and we'll write it on our own. So let's jump to my lab screen. So I have copied the link and I'll just quickly clone it. Git clone, paste the link, and the repository will be get cloned. So once cloned, you will notice that a docker file will be already exist inside the directory. So it's a simple text file that you can open in any text and code editor, right? So I'll just go inside the repository which we have just cloned, do ls. You will see this docker file. You can open it and read it, but I'll delete it. And for this exercise, we will pretend that we are starting from scratch and we will create a new docker file. Alright, so I'll just remove the docker file and we'll create a new file, and the name will be Dockerfile. So I'll just use vim editor, then I'll create a docker file. So in the docker file, we'll define our base image by adding from. So we'll add from, then I'll use node as a base image, and I'll add the tag code 22 alpine. Then now we'll define the working directory by using the work dir instruction. So what will this will do? This will just specify where the future commands will run, and the directory files will be copied inside this container image in this directory. Which directory will mention work dir. Let's say I'll give this as app. Then we'll copy all the source code to this directory. We'll use copy command, copy instruction, then dot from host it will copy from the current directory, and to whatever work directory we have set, it will copy to that. So two dots will be mentioning. If you want to go inside another subdirectory in the container image, so you can specify it here. Now we'll install the app dependency by using yarn CLI and package manager. So to do that, we can use run instruction. We'll just mention run, then yarn install hyphen production. Then finally we'll specify the default command to run the application, and in that we'll use cmd instruction. So within a square bracket and within quotation we'll just provide node, then our application is inside .src and index.js. So you have this Docker file now, which will first take a base image, then create and then set a working directory, then copy all the source code from host to the image, then install all the dependencies and run the application finally. So this is how your Docker file will look like. And one more thing to notice here, that this Docker file is not production ready yet. It is very important to note that this Docker file is not following all the best practices yet, at least by this design. So it will build that app, but the builds won't be as fast or the images as secure as they could be. We'll just save it and we'll see how to build it and how to tag it and publish that image in the Docker Hub. So that was basically the lab for Dockerfile, and we built a Dockerfile for simple Node.js application. And yeah, that's wrap up for day 5 of our Docker workshop. We learned how to write a Docker file, what parser directive mean, and explored all the important instructions that make up a Docker file. We even went hands-on and built our own image step by step. So in the next session, we'll be taking this further. We'll build, tag, and publish our Docker image, and we'll see how Docker's build cache helps speed up the process. So if you missed any of this earlier session like Docker architecture, image layers, or installation, you can find everything in the Docker workshop playlist on DevOps Doc channel. So if you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel, and stay tuned for the next deep dive. And I'll see you in the next one.